Hello everyone, this is a quick little video. This is in response to a question I had received in an email. Now, the person asked about the 23 Toys gigantic size body, which is this guy here. If you compare this next to the gang hood body, this is also a 23 Toys gang hood body. It's a clone of the popular gang hood body. It's got a little bit thicker waist than the typical true type. Upper body is a little bit more massive, and the arms are a little larger as well. It's a good use for a slightly larger, thicker character. Now, if you compare, if I put this waist to waist, you can see the height difference here between the two. So this thing is a full, at least 13 inches tall. Now, the question was this gigantic neck that comes on this. Now, I had sanded this down with a Dremel. I'll give you some idea about the proportions of the average neck. So I have my little calipers here. This is set to millimeters. You can see that pretty clearly. This is a ZC Toys muscular body, an emulated figure. At the top, it's about 20 millimeters, and at the base of the neck here, where the head would come down to in some cases, it's about 21.6 millimeters. Same thing here with, if I look at the gang hood body, it's a little bit thinner. So it's at the top, it's 17 millimeters. If I come down a little bit to where the neck would meet, it's about 19, almost 20 millimeters here. If I compare the 23 Toys next to the World Box, I think this is 27. It's the largest one they have. I think they developed it for the Henry Cavill Superman body. This is 21, almost 22 millimeters here at the top, or at the base here. At the very top, it's about 20.12 here. This one, and this, again, this has been sanded down a little bit. I'll show you where the sanding marks are. This goes out to about 22 millimeters at the base here, and also this way here. You're about 22. Now here, I'd sanded this down, so this would come out to about here. You are going to have to Dremel it, and it's still pretty wide at 21.2 millimeters. Now, some of the problems that I have with this is that body this large, I had purchased this Henry Cavill head. Now, if I take this guy and I put him on the World Box body, I'll kind of work it down here. Now, I don't know if this is the proportions of the actual Henry Cavill head. It may be a reproduction, in which case it's not uncommon for the head to shrink with every reproduction they do. So it's going to decrease in size a little bit. So if I compare this next to like this Taylor Kitsch figure, this came with the true type body many, many years ago. If you look, the Taylor Kitsch head is a little bit bigger, not just the hair. So you can see where the forehead comes up to. It is a little bit larger, by a millimeter or two, but when you're dealing with scale, these things tend to factor in. 1 millimeter is kind of working its way up there a little bit. This is an Aaron Taylor Johnson Quicksilver head that I purchased. Also another one that is either parted out or I think it's third party. You can see the 3D printed hair that's attached here like this, and a little front piece that goes on there. This is this also came with a true type, and it might just be that these heads were a little bit larger back then, because as I said, it's probably about 10 years old. It's the fellow from Jailbreak, whatever it was, him and the other guy. I think they both ended up on CW shows. Anyway, you can see the difference here. I swapped these out a little bit. Put the Henry Cavill on. You can kind of see, I think it looks a little bit small in proportion. I pop this one out and I slide this guy on here. Again, it's kind of a little difficult to get it all the way down. It's a little bit better. So you will have to keep in mind how large these are. Now, if I measure this out with my calipers here, zero this out, the Henry Cavill head sculpt from jaw to the top of the head comes to about 41 millimeters. This Jailbreak dude is about the same, but where it differs is if you look at the size of the face. If you just go from the bottom of the jaw to the top of the eyes here, there's 21, almost 22 millimeters there. If I take this one here, it's a little bit larger. So it goes to about a little over 22 millimeters, almost 23 millimeters. So again, 2 millimeters difference doesn't sound like too much, but again, in scale, it can add up. Now, the problem that you run into with this body rather, outside of the issue with the sanding it down, take this out here. You can see inside here, there's a little opening right here. So it limits how much you can sand down the front, or else you'll be penetrating into this little crevice here. So you'll probably have to sand, as I did, like around more on the back side of the head. Now, when I take this, I put it on here this way, and I take this Aaron Taylor Johnson head. The problem with this is, like, you're not going to be able to get the neck into the base. So if you purchase a head, like the person in question that asked this is looking to make a comic accurate Aquaman figure. So you're going to have to find a head that has a significant neck opening at the base, so that when this goes on, it doesn't just sit at the top. And it's kind of difficult even to get this past that deep. So obviously that does not work on this. So you will have to Dremel this down considerably. And what you want to do is, if you want to get rid of these sanding marks, you're going to have to take a lower grit sandpaper as you get down. I'm going to have to take this down another couple millimeters all the way around to be able to get this to work with the head. I wanted to use this for a couple of the larger figures I had in mind, but this head is definitely a challenge. Someone else also asked about the other body, the comparison, the BD 001, I think it's the little tiny muscular body. It's pretty good size for Spider-Man. Personally, I like the World Box 42. Someone in the comments section had said they used it for a Top Gun figure, which I think is a really good fit as well. Those work very, very nicely. And the thing I like about it is that on the 23 toys, BD001, if it's the right number I'm looking for, the ankle pegs are a little bit wider. So you're going to have to heat things up and pop the shoe or the foot on. And sometimes as they cool, they will pop off. So you want to be a little cautious of that. You can work with these, and they were very, very, very cheap. I think there were a lot of people purchased them up and are using them, sort of scalping them out. They're selling them basically. This one here. So this was the gang hood bodies usually run about $36 at the cheapest that you can find them. And again, be careful when you're buying on eBay. Really do your homework. Don't just buy the first one you see. You can find the same exact thing with a lot of discrepancies in the pricing. But this gang hood body, they were selling it for about $22, $23, which is $12 a body is pretty significant. You're basically cutting the price in from a third down, so into that level, which of course makes it much more economical to grab one of these. Whether or not the distributor ends up getting any more of these, or the company even makes them anymore, is going to be tricky to see, because I haven't seen any other things coming along. But that's the general idea of things you're going to be looking at if you go to use this body, and what kind of heads you want to apply to it. As I said, like this one here, see, if I can't even get this in past this part here because of the nature of the neck. So you will have to plan ahead a little bit. Dremel it down. I recommend using the sanding, the grinding thing. Do not use the sandpaper drum. In my opinion, it takes up way too much material and you'll have less control. Also, take your time with it. As you heat it up, the plastic will melt and it will kind of gum up a little bit. So you want to sand it, let it cool, sand it, let it cool, get it down to a manageable level, and then gradually start to take a finer grit sandpaper and work your way around this. And you'll be able to polish this back into a consistent tone. I know that the neck is going to pretty much be covered up by the base of the skull, but still you want it to be a little bit nicer if you have anything peeking through under there. But that's basically it for the neck issues that you have with this. It is a problem. It is definitely a problem. This neck is so massive, most heads cannot even fit onto it to get around that neck. You will have to do some work on it. But this body, again, I think this is about $30, and this one here is about $100. So again, it's quite a bit of a savings. Now, the neck on the World Box bends forward like this, whereas this one here is just straight up and down. So depending upon the figure that you want to use out of it, it gives you some options there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope it was helpful, and hope to see you very, very soon. I'm going to try and put out my video on the haunted house that I just built for Halloween.